Bienvenue sur Les Jongleuses, le podcast qui vous donne les clés pour jongler avec légèreté entre toutes les facettes de votre vie. Je m'appelle Ruth Manou et je suis coach de vie certifiée. Je suis aussi 2 fois maman, passionnée de musique et de pop culture. Et chaque semaine, je m'inspire de tout ça pour vous aider à retrouver votre voix intérieure, loin des injonctions et des chemins balisés. Pourquoi ? Pour que vous puissiez jongler avec fluidité entre toutes les facettes de votre vie. Je vous donne rendez-vous tous les vendredis pour un nouvel épisode. Abonnez-vous à la newsletter ou sur votre plateforme d'écoute préférée pour être notifié des nouvelles sorties. Et je compte sur vous pour partager largement autour de vous et pour laisser une pluie d'étoiles et de commentaires partout où c'est possible. Bonne écoute! Hello tout le monde! J'espère que vous allez bien et que le changement de saison se passe de façon douce pour vous. Je suis de retour aujourd'hui avec une conversation. Ça faisait longtemps qu'il n'y en avait pas eu sur ce podcast, mais cette fois-ci, il ne s'agit pas d'une interview. Vous allez entendre une vraie session de coaching. Si vous étiez curieuse de savoir précisément comment se passe un accompagnement, dans cet épisode, vous allez en avoir un aperçu. Cette conversation est particulièrement pour vous si vous vous trouvez parfois paralysé par la peur du jugement, par la peur de ce que vont penser les autres. Si vous êtes en pleine transition dans votre vie personnelle ou professionnelle. Si vous adoptez un nouveau rôle dans un aspect de votre vie et que c'est inconfortable. Ou encore si vous vous retrouvez prise dans ce qui semble être une lutte entre différentes parties de vous-même. Dans cet épisode, vous allez m'entendre coacher Jenny qui est en pleine transition de carrière. Jenny change d'identité professionnelle. Elle s'apprête à quitter son emploi salarié pour se lancer à son compte en tant que coach. Elle a envie de soutenir son activité en communiquant sur LinkedIn, mais elle n'y arrive tout simplement pas. Elle se retrouve complètement bloquée à l'heure d'écrire ce qui pourrait paraître une simple publication. Je vous laisse découvrir la transformation qui s'opère en elle au fur et à mesure de la conversation. Au fur et à mesure qu'on explore ce qui la bloque et la terrifie, on la sent comme s'alléger et elle finit la conversation enthousiaste et pressée de commencer. Et puis pour vous, j'espère que l'épisode vous aidera dans vos propres défis actuels. Ça peut parfois aider d'écouter quelqu'un d'autre se faire coacher. Et si vous avez envie d'aller plus loin sur votre propre situation, le lien pour réserver votre appel découverte est disponible dans les notes de l'épisode. Until then, enjoy the episode. Parce que oui, c'est une conversation en anglais. Bonne écoute. What would you like to work on today?
So as you know, I plan on starting my own coaching practice. And one thing that I know is very good to do is to be active on LinkedIn. However, it's something that makes me very, very nervous, quite anxious, and a lot of self-doubt. So even though I know it's good, even though I know I'm leaving my full-time job in a month and a half or so, I'm just not doing it because I don't want to, or I'm scared to. So I'd like to work on that.
Yeah. Congratulations on leaving your job and making the big leap into the coaching business. However, it makes sense that if you're scared to start communicating on LinkedIn, that you're not taking action. What about it do you find so scary?
I think it's more about other people seeing it, especially people that I know. That's and what they might think is what makes me so scared of maybe their judgments, I guess.
Yeah, it makes so much sense though.
Yeah.
You're in a big transition right now. You're changing your professional identity, so it makes a lot of sense that the people who used to know you, you're now about to show them a different identity, start sharing a new stuff. So just how human of you to be feeling that right now. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've known for so long that it would be something that I would have to be, such a weird thing to say, but to have to be very brave to do. Just like to put something on LinkedIn or to even update to say that I'm a coach on LinkedIn. Even that I haven't done. But I want to stop being scared of something that, I could instead embrace.
Yeah. Well, it does take a lot of courage to put yourself like that in front of people. So it makes a lot of sense that you would evoke bravery. And congratulations, for wanting to stop being scared.
Thank you.
Let's go with it. So when you think about that, about starting to communicate on LinkedIn and wanting to be less scared, what's the specific goal you'd like to have accomplished by the end of our session together?
I might list a few here just to say it out loud to see which one I actually want to focus on.
Okay, hit me.
I find that saying it out loud, it just helps me feel which one. Well, one is change of perspective. Mm-hmm. The other one is to find some kind of strategy to help me to just do it. But I think change of perspective is better. I think that's the one I would like to work on.
Okay. What comes to your mind when you say change of perspective?
Well, to instead of thinking about it as something scary, to think about as an opportunity, as something exciting. I think if I thought about it that way, it wouldn't be difficult. It'd be fun.
Yeah. It sounds like you're willing to be like carried away by a lighter feeling and start having fun with that idea. How true is that for you?
100% true.
Okay. So when you think about that, wanting to stop looking at this like a big scary thing and instead as something fun and light and exciting to do, and you think about the end of a session together, what will be your measure of success?
I think in two parts. I'll feel kind of excited to get started. And I'll also already say when I'm going to do it.
Okay, action step.
Yeah. And usually when I say I'm going to do something, it's almost always done.
I love that. Okay. So when you think about excitement and you look at yourself right now and you think about, okay, I'm going to open my computer and write something. What's your level of excitement on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being zero excitement and 10 being, oh my God, I cannot wait.
For LinkedIn, I would say a 2.
Okay. It's pretty congruent with what you just shared.
Yeah.
Right? What level would you like to reach by the end of the session together?
If I could be at a 6 or a 7, I think even that would be so helpful.
Yeah. What would that look like for you?
I think that would look like maybe a little bit of fear, because it is something new, and I think there's a lot of fear in general right now because I am soon making a really big change. But I still feel excited to do it and also a bit determined to start being on LinkedIn, to start updating my profile even though I'm scared.
Okay.
Kind of like that. To my fear.
Yeah. I'm scared and I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's aim for that. That sounds exciting. Absolutely. Why is achieving this goal so important to you?
Something that actually just got into my head that I hadn't thought about, that literally when you asked that just popped into my head. It's growth. For the last few years, for many years now, I've just been working on growing and becoming the person who feels like myself and can show that as well. And I think this would be such a growth step. I mean, of course, it would be great for my business, hopefully, but I think in general, just being scared and doing it anyways. I mean, that would be a lot of growth. That sounds actually quite cool.
Now it sounds like it's not just about launching things for your business. It sounds like self mastery almost, and like showing to the world the growth you've been experiencing. How true is that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Showing to the world and to myself.
Mm, okay. So when you think about that, when you think about wanting to transform the fear, or to be willing to feel the fear and add some sense of excitement to it, what do you believe you need to address or resolve?
I think, well, most of my fear is judgment from others. So maybe on that and on why that is so important.
So why your first step would be identifying why you give so much importance to what other people might think.
Yeah, I think so, because once I understand that, maybe I can find ways to make that less important.
Hmm. So why do you think that's important to you?
Um, hmm. I guess I like showing a face that's as perfect as can be, even though I am very far from perfect, Never got the best grades, constantly fall down, go often to the food store in my pajamas because I just cannot be bothered. And I live in a big city, so no one cares. So far from perfect, but there is, or maybe it's not perfect. I want to show a face that I want others to see. Um, Even though it is who I am, I don't always like showing, for example, my anxieties, or when I'm having a hard time, I prefer to hide away. And if I show this and people don't like what I'm writing, or they might find it stupid, then I would feel very embarrassed. And I think it would affect my confidence a lot. Um, I just don't want people to see me as that way,
Yeah,
or as a failure. You know.
it's so natural. It's so natural that you don't want people to see you in a certain way, or that you don't want to show yourself as vulnerable. It's so human. And then if you show that, and then people, like, if there's some sort of backlash while you're being vulnerable, of course, that's scary. Of course, you don't want to go there. But I'm really curious. What's the difference between going to the store in your pajamas, or singing to yourself on your bike, and being vulnerable in your posts?
I guess with the first two, I mean, first of all, I don't really care, especially because I don't know the people around me. I'm never going to see them again. And even though I do that sometimes with people that know me around me, I don't really care, um, because I think it's fun or it's comfortable. Um, but when it's being vulnerable, or showing something that I'm trying out that is so completely different from what I've done always, because I currently work in fashion and then going into coaching. Um, I guess their words or their thoughts or opinions, they mean a lot more.
Mm,
Maybe because it is so new.
okay. Yeah. It's so understandable that the novelty of what you're doing would scare you. You mentioned the thoughts or what people would say. What do you think they would say if you started being vulnerable or talking about your insecurities, or what do you think they would say?
Probably I'm either going or have gone through the same thing. I mean, when you look at people with anxiety, something that I have plenty of, and when I started talking about that with people, then they said they were going through the same thing or had, and actually just gave really helpful advice, that helped me manage, and instead gave me support. So I guess they would either say that, or they wouldn't think or say anything and just be like, oh, okay. Which is also nothing. That's also pretty good
Mm-hmm.
in a way.
So when you think about it like that, what does it do to your level of excitement?
I think it doesn't do much to my excitement, but it does give me some kind of, what's the word? What's the word? Like wanting to push back against what I'm telling myself. I can't remember the word, but
Okay.
I've always been thinking that I know this is a fear I have, and a part of me is wanting to prove that wrong. So I think, a bit of that.
So it doesn't do anything to your excitement, but it sounds like it does something to your fear.
Yeah, it's almost like a kid at school who wants to break the rules and be like, oh yeah, well, I'll do it anyways. Not quite that much, but a little bit of like, oh yeah, you're worried they're going to judge you? Well, let's find out. And then I guess if they do, so what? Does it really matter?
I don't know, does it?
I don't think so. I think a part of me will feel like it does. But not really. I mean, one of the things I've really been working on is really just being who I am, and quirks and everything, and just showing that. And this is just another way.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's another way of being fully yourself to the face of the world and yourself. But you mentioned it might matter to a part of you. Which part of you is that?
I think like the inner child of me that wants to be accepted in a way. Yeah, I think that part.
Okay. And what would that part of you have to say if you were like going anyway, despite the fear of being rejected?
That's a good question. I think it would say, I'll be okay.
Okay. What are you feeling right now?
I don't really know. It's a bit of a mix, actually. I feel almost like I almost feel like crying, actually. I think a little bit of release.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I think a bit of release, just like letting go a little, which is nice.
But if you were to follow that release all the way through and see what happens on the other side of it?
Yeah.
Okay. How open would you be to do some breathing together and just see what this release and this inner child has to say and all those voices has to say?
100% open.
Okay, so if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and close your eyes, or you can just soften your gaze and just relax into your chair. You can put both feet on the ground, and then you can open your mouth slightly and start breathing through your mouth. And you can exhale loudly. Inhale all the calm, all the serenity of the world. And with each exhale, with each loud exhale, you let something go. With each inhale, you feel lighter, calmer, more relaxed. And you let something go. I'm going to ask you to do that 3 more times. And then you can come back to your natural flow and keep your eyes closed. I would love for you to imagine you're in a room and there are several chairs there. And they are all the parts of you that come up when you imagine yourself writing your first LinkedIn post or just updating your profile. And then all of them have something to say. You have the voice that say, okay, girl, let's do it. You have quirky Jenny that goes to the stores in her pajama and doesn't care. You have inner child Jenny that's a little bit scared. You have the part of you that wants to be accepted and loved and not wounded by others. You have the part of you that's ready to shine and let herself be seen. You have all of those voices, all parts of you. They're all there. They all have something to say. You can imagine yourself looking at each of them, listening to each of them. And every time one of them tell you something, you're going to say, of course you feel that way. You're allowed to feel that way. I hear you. I honor you. You can stay there as long as you want. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back with me. Where are you?
Calm. I feel at peace with every part. Feels nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from that place of feeling calm and at peace with all parts of yourself, which direction would you like to go now?
If I chose between the voices or the different parts, to be honest, I would just choose the quirky one. In my head, I was picturing just someone just tapping on all the keys, being like, oh, whatever, these are a bunch of letters together, they don't make any sense. Write something about the life doesn't even make sense and laugh and then press send. And I don't know, there was no, it was just all fun, which is one of my core values also. So it just felt right.
What energy level is that?
I guess it's level 7, right? Just be a complete passion, and I guess also connecting with my own inner genius of, well, this makes no sense, life doesn't make sense, and that's okay. You know, I don't know why that came up in my scenario, but that's the only thing I could think of, and it just kind of made me smile. Which you know, if I could always work at that level, then that would be great. I could work all day and that wouldn't be a problem, which at the moment sounds really nice, because lately I'm just kind of trying to push through the day to get everything done. So yeah, that sounds really nice.
Congratulations for you started the session on this topic at a level 1, being scared, filled with doubt, not knowing which direction to go, and now you're like touching a hard level 7. That's amazing. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that is pretty amazing, that just noticing and accepting even the parts that are difficult of yourself, like the ones that might feel sad or angry or doubtful, to just release that and say it's okay, and then to see the other parts that you like the determined or excited or even the quirky, and then to just choose that even that simple, very simple thing actually just makes a big difference. And it's actually helped me release just some of the tightness in the chest that I've had the last few days, just doing that, which feels relieving, I would say.
Yeah. Congratulations for being so open to the whole experience. Well, it's really amazing.
Thank you for guiding me through it. I'm going to remember that one.
It's my absolute pleasure. What are you learning about yourself?
Well, one thing is that I don't have to be so serious. You know, I kind of thought, reading other people's posts, and they sounded so great and they sounded so clever. And I was like, wow, God, I wish I could write something like that. But it's not really who I am. So to just embrace that it's not so serious. In fact, I'm not a very serious person and prefer things not to be too serious. So that for one, but also that even though I might feel scared then and again, it doesn't mean that I'll always feel scared. And I think if I can hold on to that, then I can work towards that more determined, excited feeling, or even fun. Yeah, and it doesn't mean that I have to do it, because I know in the beginning I'd said I would plan the day I would do it, but maybe I won't, and instead pick a few days that I might do it, and then pick the day where I feel the most higher energy level-esque or feel capable of getting there. Because if I'm doing something so new and quite scary or in need of bravery or courage for me to do, then I don't need to make it hard on myself. I don't need to do it on days where I feel anxious or not as confident or, all of that stuff. I can do it a day where I feel better, where I feel like I won't judge myself so hard.
Wow, it's just beautiful to see you connect this novel thing you're about to do with your values and with this level 7, wanting to make it light and simple and easy. It's really a beautiful thing to witness.
Thank you.
So you started with a level 2 on excitement. Where are you at now?
Honestly, I think I'm at an 8 or a 9. I'm actually quite excited to do it.
Oh, girl, an 8 or a 9?
I'm excited to sit as that person who just thinks of something that makes me laugh and writes that, or something that feels important to me that I think could benefit others. I've even made a list of things I could write about. So I'm excited to do that and to make it fun in some way.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So when-ish are you going to do this?
So this week I'm not able to, but next week, by Sunday evening, I would like it done. And then I think it'll depend on how I feel. And next week I think I have a bit less work at my full-time job, which means I can end earlier usually, which will also help.
Okay. That's amazing. Apart from a very swift like from me and a comment from me, what other support might you need?
I think I might. That's a good question. I think for one, and this isn't really support in a way, but I think I need to make sure I've eaten beforehand if I'm not hungry, because I tend to get very hangry. But I also from my partner to read what I've written, or for me to speak with him, which I do a lot, and he's very patient with. But at the same time, to not necessarily write it for me, because he works in banking, so he has a very formal way of writing, very, very formal, which he knows. So I think without him helping me write it, just listening while I read it, and then giving me feedback on that, I think that would be good. And I think the last one, I think I'm going to do that same meditation or breathing exercise that you did also.
Amazing. Congratulations, Jenny.
Thank you.
What does accountability look like for you?
For me, I think for me mainly it's actually my calendar. As a calendar with a to-do list, it's great. I get overly excited about my calendar. But for me, it's checking something that I've done off. For me, it's one of the most fun things. It's one of the best parts of life, almost. Okay, that might be extreme, but I do love doing it.
It's okay. I mean, I completely understand the appeal of a glorious to-do
Yeah, it's
list and
just
a
checked off.
well-maintained calendar. Like, this is my jam.
Exactly. It's so satisfying checking it off in the time you were supposed to do it.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best. It is the best feeling. I even sometimes write down things I've already done so that I can check it off. So for me, that is the how I keep myself accountable, and I love that feeling so much that I always do what I write on it, unless I realize that I put too much down, and then I have to prioritize a little.
Yeah. Okay. So, how complete do you feel on this session?
I feel very complete. I feel, actually, I didn't even think I would be able to feel excited. More like, okay, let's do this. I feel ready to tackle this now, but I actually feel quite excited to get started, to prove that I can, and to just, excuse my French, but to just say fuck you to my doubtful mind.
Yes. That's beautiful. How would you like to end the session?
To thank you. This was really, really helpful. I really needed this, so thank you so much for your help.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for showing up and for being so open. J'espère que cette immersion au cœur d'une session de coaching vous a plu et aidé. Personnellement, j'ai adoré coacher Jenny et la voir passer d'un état de blocage à une hâte de commencer qui était carrément palpable. Et c'est vraiment souvent ce qui se passe dans une session. Le simple fait de se confronter aux émotions qui se cachent sous cette sensation de blocage et d'accueillir pleinement ces émotions apporte un soulagement et l'envie de se mettre en action arrive un peu comme toute seule en fait. Je vous attends en appel découverte pour explorer ensemble comment on pourrait travailler sur vos propres défis dans le cadre d'un accompagnement en coaching. Et je vous donne rendez-vous à la mi-octobre pour un nouvel épisode de podcast. Et d'ici là, prenez soin de vous.